me, the seniors especially, is a kind of a high school reunion. I don't even know how to say it, but it's great to see all my buddies coming back. As there's the man of the hour, Fabiano Caruana, just playing an absolutely unbelievable, record-setting pace that he is on right now. If he were to go 50% in his remaining games, would that be the 27?
Yeah, that would be. Well, I don't know if 27, but for starters, he would bag the tournament.
Of course.
Eyes closed.
I'm just thinking about the record for the GCT, whether he would bag that as well.
Yeah, he's on 24 points. He needs to three more points
out of the remaining games. As he sits down against Ivan Saric, and Ivan Saric is a dangerous man. He can beat anybody on a given day. He doesn't have the results quite so far in this event to compete for the podium, but he has won, and he just won against Levon. As we saw, he turned that game around.
He has
Bishop
a
C5.
very sharp opening style, and
he
also,
does.
as we've seen him excel in tactics. Like, who can forget yesterday's game against Jan Nepomniachtchi, where he found the remarkable Bishop A7. Well worth checking out Sarah Herman's recaps of the event.
Absolutely. A2, A4. So a couple of moves there. Rook B8 was one of them. Bishop G4. That's a very, very different approach by Fabi. Oftentimes, funnily enough, in these Ruy Lopez's, the pawn on B5 ends up being the weakness. Like you can imagine, D2, D3, AB, Rook A8 being played, and the pawn on B5 is weak. Oftentimes, the bishop finds itself well placed on D7, and conversely, on the king side, G4 later down the road, not immediately.
And Fabi's a big expert in this type of positions,
yes,
having done a course in this particular line. I think he told me it took him longer than he ever thought possible.
Because you're double checking and triple checking everything with the cloud.
Also, you feel like it's a race against time, right? You know, you have your repertoire worked out, and then someone plays a new move, and okay, I have to work harder. And there we see knight A5. So you don't want to let that light squared bishop get traded off. So bishop C2 played.
I was about to say knight A5. I was okay. I'm sure this is still theory, and
it still is.
Yeah, rook to E1
and rook to B8 is the main move here. And yeah, you're right, Yasser. The most common response, there's only been 3 games, is to go G4.
Yeah, and sometimes if you don't sacrifice the piece, if after G4 you do drop back with the bishop, you look at the black king and you say, you're really, really solid, congratulations. But the bishop on G6 can actually just simply fizzle and be out of the game forever. Like, just imagine, I'm going to put some moves on the board just to give you an indication of what I'm talking about. Imagine I go knight to B3. Not exactly a clever idea, but at the end of the day, my bishop's working, your bishop is not. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Just a second.
And this
what has
game
he done? Knight F1.
Yeah, this game is absolutely crucial, because if Fabi wins and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave draws,
right,
then that's it. Fabi has won the event.
Right.
Now, if Maxime also continues his winning pattern, then, okay, the race continues, and then everything will depend on what Fabi does in the next round.
Yes. Knight G3, bishop G6. Okay, and now it's come down to this moment. Ivan, are you ready to play D4 and expand in the center? Now, I notice that Ivan is playing slowly, or maybe I'm just...
No, he's playing slowly. He's on 3 minutes and 24 seconds, whereas Fabi is on 4 minutes and 12 seconds.
Okay, so let's imagine D4. I would think that you want to take on C3 in order to open up the B line. So I would imagine you want to take, and play bishop to B4. No, he just went back. Wow.
The tension is remaining on the board, but actually,
I don't like that move.
Well, I can tell you who also agrees with you. My evaluation bar.
That doesn't like that move, right?
Hates it.
Hates it.
Yeah.
Hated it. Bishop back to, okay, so wait a minute, just a second. I told you that sometimes there's an absence. The bishop on the king side can kind of get locked out of the game. But check this out. Here I see bishop coming to d2.
Isn't the pawn on e5 hanging? If you go rook takes b4, you can just capture on e5.
Okay, I was thinking rook takes b4, bishop d2, but I think you're making a very good point that we can take, trade queens, and then simply snack on the e5 pawn.
I'm learning from the best. Yes.
There you go.
Knight
there
c6.
You go. I was going to say, you're just saying that because it's so true.
It is.
Knight c6. Now, again, the missing light square bishop makes me think of the move b5.
Okay. And now we've seen
Why
a
did you trade queens?
Queens. Well, he wants to go b5, yes, sir.
Well, he did, but with the queens on the board, knight b4 would not come with a threat, and I could take on a6 as one choice. But now, after knight b4, I am forced to move my bishop because it's under attack. With the queens on the board,
Yeah, it's not
Ivan Saric may have made a, he's got his own ambition.
Right, but still you're forcing the bishop to go back to b1.
Sure, but he's thinking knight to b4, bishop to b1, a b5, knight takes e5.
Mm-hmm.
So Ivan has got his eyes set on the e5 pawn. And for Fabi, what is the clock times between these two?
It's actually narrowed a lot. In fact, Fabi has less time. 2 minutes and 27 seconds ticking down, whereas Saric, he just sped up.
So much of the game is about the nerves and keeping calm, even when you're down on the clock. But here, I don't really see an alternative for Fabi. To my mind, AB is just doing white a great favor of opening up the file, the A file, that is.
And
he's done it. Wow.
And now he jumps in with the knight to
d4.
d4. Okay, big threat. Knight takes bishop.
Just a second. So rook takes a7, knight takes c2. You're right, it does hit the bishop. Pardon me, you do hit the rook. I would be forced to move and then
you can just
snack on this pawn.
Snack on the e4 pawn, snack on the b5 pawn.
So we're expecting knight takes d4.
Yes.
Knight takes d4, bishop takes d4. Now I'm a pawn grabber, but I also like defending pawns. Bishop to b5.
Okay, he goes for this.
Bishop to b5 or bishop to d3.
No,
I feel
it's too
there's
loose.
a discovery.
Bishop takes f2.
Agreed. Rook a5 feels a little looser as well. So I'm in favor of bishop a4. Hold the extra material.
Right. That's the best move that I can see. And when it comes to the race for second place, Nepo is slightly better in his game against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave.
Another big game.
Knight e2 played.
Knight e2. That's a surprise move. Knight e2.
Okay.
I have rook takes b5.
You also have
knight takes d4. E takes.
You also can grab on e4.
Can I?
I was thinking bishop takes pawn.
Okay, so bishop takes e4. So bishop
Whether
takes
you
e4.
want to or not
Bishop takes e4.
is another matter. Because the plan is to go rook takes. Okay, he's
done
that.
Kind of funny that black does not yet have Luft for his king. So there is a back rank issue, potentially issue. So I can go bishop takes e4, knight takes e4, knight takes d4.
And then now you have to capture with
the
rook.
rook. No choice. Rook takes d4.
Okay, well, we're going to see
Here we
these
go.
moves.
We are moving in this direction, and I'm assuming something like bishop or F. You went f3. Okay, that wasn't exactly the snap, crackle, pop I was looking for.
No, but white still has some pressure because of the back rank issues. And
Sure.
again, clock is going to play a significant factor later on because Fabi down to his last minute. Knight d6, I like this move, anchoring the knight, attacking b5.
I think it's
Rook takes.
time to include the move b6.
Or he goes for grabbing the pawn.
Well, he does allow a rook check. So we're kind of in an awkward pin on the back rank, even though it's just for a moment.
Okay, there it
King of
happens.
two.
And rook c5 is going to be the next move.
Well, I think it's time to make Luft. Oh, he didn't do it with the tempo. I was thinking f6. And you're right, rook c5, but I do have knight takes b5.
Yeah, and then rook a5 and the pressure continues.
Agreed. h6, rook e1. So this looks like it's going to head into a draw. 3 versus 3 on the king side, 1 versus 1.
I like the fact that Fabi is feeling so confident he doesn't go rook takes rook.
And
He's like, no.
No trades for you.
Let's just keep everything on the board. Rook takes b5, keeps that bishop on c1 anchored to the protection of b2.
Yes.
Knight on d6 is excellent piece.
I think Ivan Saric just heard you when you said the knight on d6 is an excellent piece. Because he developed his bishop.
But now how are you going to defend the pawn on b2?
I'm assuming bishop e5.
Yeah, but then there's knight c4.
Yeah, but then I'll trade. The pawn on b2 was more of a liability than an asset. So...
Well, and again, just to drum home the point.
Yes.
If Fabi draws and MVL loses, Fabi clinches the tournament with 5 rounds to spare.
That's
Fabiano is so close to winning this event outright. 5 rounds to spare in this event. Incredible. But, you know, he has to forget about that and just focus on the game because the players now are on the last 20 seconds. You've got Ivan Saric, 25. Fabiano ticking down to 24 seconds. And remember, it's just a 2-second increment.
I do think the game is heading to a draw. I don't understand the move rook e2. Those moves rook c6 and rook c1 posting up on the c file were automatics. But okay, draw seems inevitable at this moment. Rook c6 check. Let's go.
h4. Grab the space. No, I like what white is doing. White definitely is the one that's feeling more comfortable. Knight d6.
Rook to e7.
Yeah, how are you going to
now
defend?
Suddenly the time is a factor, right?
Definitely 8 seconds left on the clock.
Fabi has played this very, very, very poorly.
Rook d5.
Well, that's a pawn.
It certainly is a pawn.
Okay, knight b5. There was a winning threat of pinning the knight. And there you get rid of the bishop suddenly. Very good. Now we're in a rook ending that should be drawn.
Yes, but it's not elementary with a passed c-pawn.
King f4, rook c5. No. Rook c5 in order to threaten the pawn.
And,
ooh, I don't like Ivan's.
In, king h6.
Why did Ivan do this? This was a very strange decision.
But you can go rook c4. Go rook c4.
No, but king takes h5. This is not what he was supposed to be doing. Oh, he's blundering. He's just blundering.
He should have defended rook c4 and then threatened to defend the h-pawn from the side.
Yeah, now it's not. Now it's gone. There's no winning chances anymore. Although king e4 was still keeping hopes alive.
Rook d6. Oh, not easy. f5.
f5. So he will just play king d6 and force.
Yeah, now you can check.
Perpetual check.
The king. There's no hiding place for the white king.
Yeah, draw is inevitable. I think we're just going to see the repetition. But like you said, MVL, it's about MVL now. What is Ivan doing? Your king's not hiding anywhere on the queen side.
No,
so what was king b6?
There we see draw agreed.
All right, let's jump to the game of MVL.
Oh, wow. So Caruana is our champion because Maxim Vachier-Lagrave lost to Jan Nepomniachtchi.
Jan loses 5 games in a row, makes a draw, and suddenly he's back and he beats MVL. Congratulations to Fabi. With 4 rounds to spare now?
5.
Is there?
This is just round 13, Yasser.
Oh, wow. I've won tournaments in my life where, you know, I've won them with a round to spare. Nothing. Never.
5 rounds
Never.
to spare. And a massive congratulations to Fabiano Caruana, the SuperUnited Rapid and Blitz champion, walking away with the biggest smile on his face because he's $40,000 richer. He's already secured the title, 5 rounds to spare.
That's
now
fun.
he can just enjoy the games and see how many points he collects.
Absolutely. And for the guy who does the trophy, you know, the inscriptions on the, this is great. He's got all the time in the world to get the name right, you know. with 5 rounds to spare, think about the guy who makes the trophy. Miro, what caught your eye?